We love featuring artists you should know about on the show, and today we're heading to Canada to chat with singer-songwriter Trent Agecoutay. Trent's based in Calgary, grew up watching his dad Jim play, and then joined the band as a teenager. His love of music and storytelling would eventually inspire him to start writing his own songs. His latest album, Do What You Wanna, is filled with energy after being cooped up after the pandemic. His latest single, Dancing Along, was #1 on the Indigenous Music Countdown last month. We're excited to have Trent on the show. First, Trent, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, first of all, happy belated birthday. You just celebrated a birthday. How did it go?
Oh, it went good. I'm getting to the point where birthdays aren't as meaningful as they once were.
I think we're the same age, if you were telling the truth, which yeah. I feel your pain.
I think we get used to getting older as we get older, so it's not a big deal anymore.
It's just another day.
That's right.
Anymore, but wow. I mean, looking at your bio, you joined your dad's band. Were you like 18? How old were you when you joined Duster?
I was 18 when I started playing nightclubs and stuff with my dad. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Actually, right here in Calgary is when we had our first gig, and now I'm back here working in Calgary like 25, 30 years later, so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's full circle, but you've been a bass player. Has it always been bass?
I always played bass. I do play guitar and drums a little bit here and there, but I don't let many people see me play drums.
Yeah, it's more for fun. You have a song called Dad's Guitar. I mean, this is totally autobiographical, Trent.
Yeah, no, like, we spent a lot of time together on the road, especially in my 20s and 30s. We played a lot of little bars all over Western Canada. Yeah, it was a good time, That's how I learned how to play music, is on those stages, so I appreciate my dad for that very much.
Yeah, if you go to YouTube, go check out Dad's Guitar, the video. It's pretty cool, of the people sitting around the table, just like you were, writing and playing with your old man. So that was pretty cool. I mean, how long did he do it? Is that all you remember from your dad? I mean, was he an artist for as long as you can remember? That's what he did his whole life that I was alive. Before that, he was involved in a little bit of social activism in Saskatchewan in the 70s with the Native Youth Movement and stuff like that. But other than that, it was pretty much all music my whole life. That's all he did for a living. So. Wow. Well, and your brother, was he the drummer?
Yeah, my brother drummed with us. He's 9 years younger than me, so I played with my dad for about, 12 years before Bryce started playing with us. But yeah, my brother plays drums, and we played together for quite a long time, and then he went off and played in rock bands and did all his touring stuff with other bands. But yeah, no, it was a family affair for sure.
Yeah. Is Bryce still playing?
He is playing in a band in Vancouver right now, and I couldn't tell you the name of the band. He just started playing again. He just had a baby about a year and a half ago, so he's slowly getting back into it.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned your dad and the Native movement, because you guys are Indigenous singer-songwriters. What's your nationality? I mean, what are you up in Canada?
Okay, I come from a place called Cowessess First Nation, and there are Saulteaux and Cree people there.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're Saulteaux, which is Plains Ojibwe is the best I can explain it. That's just the dialect of the language is Saulteaux.
Okay, so it's Saulteaux. Well, and you're working on, how's the Jim Legacy project doing?
Oh, man. That's going to be a great release. We actually wrapped up recording last month, and now we're just waiting to get it mastered. We're just kind of listening over the songs again and making sure there's nothing we want to change before we master it, and that'll come out probably early 2025. We got to give this other release a little time to live before we release another one, but that was definitely and a great project to do at the time. Like, my dad passed away in April, and it was a way for me and my brother to really go back and kind of deal with all those emotions and still create something out of, all that, the loss and everything like that. And remember my dad in a good way. So it was a good project for sure.
Yeah, Trent's been working on a legacy project for his old man. He found a bunch of tapes, a bunch of videos. Some of the videos you posted have been pretty cool. It's amazing that the footage even exists.
Well, there was a guy in my hometown named Don Lizotte. Now, he used to go to the jams and all that and videotape people all the time, and he had thousands of hours of old videotapes, and he gave me some of these videos of my dad and of myself. Like, if it wasn't for Don, there'd be no footage of me playing when I was in my, early 20s, 19-year-old age or whatever, and to see that it kind of blows me away.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing seeing some of that old footage of your old man up there and you up there playing with him. It's pretty cool. But yeah, be on the lookout for the Trent Agecoutay Legacy Project coming up in 2025. You had an album, A Place to Call Home, which is about the indigenous homeless population. Tell us a little bit about that, Trent.
Well, I worked as a housing outreach worker in Edmonton, Alberta, which is north of where I'm at now, Calgary, by about 3 hours of the two major cities here in Alberta. And Edmonton has a fairly large indigenous population, but they also have a large homeless population in Edmonton. When I was working there, we had over 3,000 people living on the streets. And my job was to work with people that were experiencing homelessness and find them a place to live and hook them up with a government subsidy and that kind of thing to get them back on their feet. So I did that for about 5 years in Edmonton. And yeah, like the album A Place to Call Home came out of all my experiences there. Because while I was working on the street, like, I experienced people I knew from high school. I experienced people that I was related to. I experienced people from my home reserve, a province over. So it was really an eye-opening experience to really see how easily people can end up in that situation.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Any resources or anything they can get. You have a song called Couch Surfing that's all about it.
It is, yeah, couch surfing. Well, there's something that when I was working in the industry, they call, there's a sector of the homeless population they call the hidden homeless, because it's people that end up living with family members or living with friends and just, couch surfing, basically sleeping wherever they can. They never have their name on a lease, so they can't ever get an apartment because they haven't established that rental history, or they don't have a good credit or whatever, so they're always looking for a place to stay with somebody else.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. If you go check out his website, thickerthanbloodmusic.com, and he's got his old album on there, and actually you can actually listen to Couch Surfing. If you scroll down, go and check it out. It's off his album, A Place to Call Home. And also, you can go check out Trent. He's on Facebook, Instagram. Go to YouTube, check out all of his stuff. His latest single, Dancing Along, is out now, and you're going to hear it here in a second. I mean, you've been playing bass for all kinds of bands. What's this Kootenay and Company?
This is a new group. When I first moved to Calgary, I was looking for guys to back me up, and I met Jordan, and actually Jordan is the one playing guitar on Dancing Along. So I met Jordan through a producer here in Calgary named Joel Pearson, and Jordan just kept asking me, he's like, well, can you come and just jam with us? We don't have a bass player, and we could really use somebody. So I went and played with them a little bit, and then I was like, okay, if you want me to keep doing this, you guys got to learn my songs, because I'm looking for a band to start, performing live again. So we've kind of combined our efforts. So I've been playing bass in their group, and they've been backing me up when I have gigs that are full band worthy. So it's been a good relationship. They're a good bunch of guys for sure.
Yeah, and they just released music in the last couple months. So
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so there's new music from them, too. What's going on with them?
We got a new single actually coming out in a little bit, probably, I think it's in about 7 days, and I'm playing bass on that single. It's called Small Town Rumors, and they do a really, their vibe is like a country rock vibe, but it reminds me a lot, I guess, of maybe like 90s Wilco in a way. It really takes me back to that kind of a feel. So, yeah, they're a great bunch of guys. They like to write good songs, so it's a pleasure to play with them.
Yeah. Well, and, I mean, Trent, you are a busy man. You're doing Afternoon Drive on CJWE, so he's a radio guy. And it's a country station, right?
It is. It's an indigenous country station. We actually cover all of southern Alberta from Red Deer all the way to the Montana border.
Oh, really? Wow. So you got one heck of a signal.
Yeah, we got 1 million watts of indigenous power with the Windspeaker radio network. they've got 10 100,000-watt receivers across the province. So we've got 2 country stations that cover the whole province of Alberta. Yeah, we got far reach.
Holy cow. And then you're also doing this Deadly Uncle podcast. What's this about?
Okay, so the Deadly Uncle podcast started last year, and what it is we're just trying to spotlight Indigenous men in the community that are doing good work, and not necessarily celebrities, but people that are, working with social services organizations, or just good dads that are, doing good things for their families and their communities. So last year we did 20 episodes, and this year Canada Council of the Arts gave us some money to do it again, and we just wrapped up filming another 20 Deadly Uncles, and that'll come out this summer. Yeah, we're always trying to stay busy and trying to, spotlight people doing good work, because it's not only us out here creating things, right?
Well, yeah, for sure. So the uncle one is about Indigenous dads.
Yeah, it's about Indigenous men. Like, they don't necessarily have to be dads, but like, elders or men or uncles in the community that are, going out and trying to help people find their way to their healing journeys and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of trauma in our community still, and there's a lot of people that are struggling. So we like to, highlight people that are trying to help the community move in the right direction.
Yeah. Because weren't you doing a podcast? Was that the Thicker Than Blood, which was the former Indigenous artist?
Yeah, I started the podcast thing over the pandemic. I did a couple. We did one called Do You Hear Me Now? Amplifying Indigenous Voices, and that was all Indigenous artists. So we treated it kind of like a songwriter's round in a way during the pandemic. So we'd talk with an artist, and there was 3 of us there. My friend Kurt Young, that's also in the Deadly Uncle podcast, and then our other friend Chelsea Young, who's an Indigenous artist. And we would just invite people onto the podcast. We'd sing a few songs, talk about what they were doing, just try to keep ourselves engaged during the pandemic with music, right? Because we all lost that ability to go out and play and connect with an audience. So that was our way to connect there. And Thicker Than Blood Music we started that, and it never finished up, but it was about interviewing older artists that maybe had careers before the recording was so accessible as it is now. People that really kind of helped build the Indigenous community. And we did quite a few interviews there, but we never got to finish what we wanted to do on that podcast.
Yeah. Go and check out Trent. He's at thickerthanbloodmusic.com. You can go check him out there. He's also on Facebook, Instagram. Go to YouTube. Check out all of his stuff. Dancing Along is his new single. You're going to hear it here in a minute. But it's off the Do You Wanna album. And you mentioned COVID. You wanted to write an album with energy to get over the damn pandemic. How rough was the pandemic on you guys?
The pandemic was, well, we were locked up like pretty much like everybody else, right? We were at home for almost 2 years. I was lucky enough.
When you guys were really locked up.
Yeah, we weren't. There wasn't a lot we could do. I mean, no. Walmart was our outing. You could go walk around at Walmart and buy something, but that was about it. Everything else was pretty much closed down. There wasn't any live music anywhere for almost 2 years. I mean, obviously there was a few times when things would open up and someone would get a gig and then they'd close us back down again. But yeah, it wasn't a fun time. I can tell you that much for sure as a musician anyways.
Wow. Yeah, not good at all. That's funny. That was about like us, and people were so mad. You can go hang out at Walmart, but you can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
COVID didn't exist in Walmart. Everywhere else it did, but
yeah. But Walmart, must be a good place.
Exactly. Yeah. All the good spirits in Walmart. The single, boy, this thing has done well. It was #1 on the Indigenous charts last month.
Yeah, I'm happy with how people have received it. It's just a fun song about getting together with your family and playing music, because that's how I grew up, and that's how a lot of people that relate to it, I think, grew up as well.
I love the song. It must be the chorus where what do you say in it, Trent, about the family? Okay, so I say sisters and brothers, aunties and uncles, and cook 'em and mush 'em dancing along. Now, cook 'em and mush 'em is the word for grandma and grandpa in the Cree language. Okay, so that's what you were talking about. Yeah, so you throw in a little bit of, because, I do play in the Indigenous community. I want people to understand that. So we throw in words here and there, to
to kind of give props to our indigenous culture. But yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's great, and it's catchy. You definitely will be singing along and dancing along with the song.
Well, somebody said I must have been channeling my '90s hip hop there because they said it sounded like rap in the chorus, and I'm like, well, I did love '90s hip hop, so maybe I did. Who knows?
Maybe he is channeling a little '90s hip hop. On your radio show, if you go and follow him on his social media, you have a question of the day. Do you make these up? Do you find these? Where do you get these?
Oh, I make them up. I find them on the internet. People send them to me. They inbox me. They're like, how about this for your question of the day? And I'm like, great, that works perfect. Because after doing this for over a year and trying to come up with a question every day, it's kind of a struggle some days. So. Yeah,
that's what I was wondering. I was like, how long has he been doing this?
And if I don't post until about noon, you know that I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm going to ask that day.
He's having writer's block that day if he hasn't posted by noon the question of the day. So what's going on this year? What are we trying to do? I mean, you've been playing some solo gigs. Are we going to do some band gigs? What's happening?
We're hoping to do some band gigs. Just waiting to hear back from a few festivals this summer. So hopefully we're going to get busy. Last summer was kind of a toss-up for me because my dad had passed away and I just took some time away from everything. But I'm hoping to get back running. I got solo gigs coming up this month, and I'm hoping to get out, hopefully on the road a little bit this summer. So yeah, it's looking to be a good year, and new music coming out next year. So we're just going to keep trying to build on what we're doing.
Go and follow him. Check him out. Trent Agecoutay, Agecoutay. When you go and search for him, just go to thickerthanbloodmusic.com and then go and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. Here is the single, Dancing Along. Trent, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
It's KIX 96.5.